Good afternoon, friends. Today we'll be reviewing the Tops Knives Woodcraft model. This is not your average run-of-the-mill design. It's not, because it's based on the famous marbles Woodcraft model, of which I am a proud owner. The creator, he was born in 1854. He was a very skilled outdoorsman, right? He believed that to be safe in the woods, you only needed 4 items. Number 1, a waterproof compass. Number 2, a sturdy hatchet. There are some amazing marble hatchet out there. Very hard to find, but they're just gorgeous to look at. I'm sure they would be gorgeous to use, by the way. You also need a well-designed knife, a waterproof matchbox. It is a custom piece from 2000 in antique ivory, handle scale, some brass finishing. Very smooth. Handles are not made like this anymore, guys. So Tops is bringing us a very similar blade profile. Look at the curves from start to finish. Loyal to the design, with a couple of exceptions. Number 1, we have very deep and noticeable jimping here, which is, I have to say, quite comfortable. It's one of the better jimpings. It's not that sharp. It's the way it should be on an outdoors knife. The blade length is not necessarily the same. Look at the differences there. So you have a little bit more length on the original marbles, but then the main difference, while the grind in the Tops is decent, it's actually quite sharp out of the box. The grind on the marbles is just that, if you've ever handled and cut with a marbles knife, you'll know what I mean. This convex is just on a different level, guys. You'll have to get a bark river, one of the thin bark rivers, to experience the sliciness that you get on these convex knives. I mean, it's just a little bit higher level, right? How's the Tops one out of the box? Quite sharp as well. It's only when you cut a number of materials that you begin to appreciate this grind in these bark rivers and marbles design. If you put aside the story and the loyalty to the original model, let's analyze the knife for what it is. So I'll start with the handle. The handle is gorgeous to look at. Two-tone G10 with 2 screws. Which is, it's trying to follow this design, coffin style in a way with a finger groove that only works for me in this position. This is the only position where this knife is comfortable for me. Anywhere else, well, on this one I guess as well, but if I grab it on the choil, the coffin end here, somehow the handle ends too soon for me, so it's digging right there. It's not pointy, but it's not comfortable. It's not comfortable. It should be comfortable there. I mean, my hands are large, but I would prefer a little bit longer handle, definitely, and also thicker. While it may appear to you that's thick there, somehow on my bigger, large size hands, perhaps a little bit skinnier fingers than typical, I'm not in a great grip right here, guys. I'm not. So that's one opportunity that I see with this design, the implementation. I would also like to see Tops begin to use a different type of attachment method. Right here you have Condor using rivets that are perfectly flush on the micarta scales. So why not do that, right? Maybe Tops customers want to service their blades. I don't know how often that happens in real life, but you know, once you begin to spend some money on these great designs, you begin to ask for those finishing touches. Not to mention that you feel the screws when you grip it in a certain way. Okay, so aside from the shape of the handle in the back and the thinness, I think it's a good looking handle. Obviously durable. This material is great, micarta. The screws seem to be pretty tight. So those are my thoughts on the handle. I like the guard here. I think it's deep enough. It's always good to have some sort of guard for most uses. Okay, and back to the blade. The blade is finished beautifully. I think the markings on it are not too outlandish, which is something that Tops sometimes would do. Made in Idaho. Good to see that as well. I like the color of it. It has this golden brown. The swedge definitely adds an element of grace. Very precisely done. We got some good thickness here. Probably, although the name says Woodcraft, this is likely a great hunting knife for skinning, just based on the shape of the blade itself. I don't hunt or skin, but I can definitely, I cut meat all the time, and I can cut the skin off a drumstick, so I'm familiar with the motion, and this works well. I like that it's thick and stout, so backpacking, hiking, camping knife on the smaller size range. This is a good thick blade that would allow you to not feel scared when you're batoning through some firewood pieces to make your fire, prepare yourself a tent peg, whatever you're going to do out there. So good thickness. I like seeing that. Behind the edge is a little bit chunky, although it cuts well. So I think it's a good balance. The sheath, people have covered it. I like the style of it. The leather was covered in oil, like very oily. I had to actually dry it out. It was a little bit too much. And here it is, Tubbs Woodcraft. Hope you liked it.